In this video, I'll be showing you how to detail the interior of a car. It's just pretty simple but time consuming. Let me show you how. As you can see, this car has crumbs and all the little cracks and nooks and crannies. So it definitely needs a good detailing job. How you get little stuff like this in here is you can just take a car vacuum cleaner and vacuum it right out, and it comes very easy. And man, look at those mats. They are so dirty. They really need a good clean. So let's get started detailing this car. So we'll start on the door panel and move our way across the interior until we get over to the other door panel. So we have this car vacuum cleaner that has this little extendable hose that can get into all the nooks and crannies, and this works great for cars. Now let's start by getting in the cup holders and these little storage areas down here. So we're going to use some Simple Green on the door to really work those oils and stuff off, or you can just use Armor All, and that will add a protective coating to the materials. So just take this and spray it on in light coats. Just a little bit. And now clean it off with just a microfiber towel. And it's very important to get in these here because they get very dirty. Make sure to clean the door sill whenever you're doing stuff like this. A lot of people neglect this and think it's not very important, but when you're detailing a car, getting all of the detail is very important. When everything's clean, it really sets the whole car off. So then just take your cleaner, spray everything down, and clean it off. Now let's move on to these floor mats and floor pans. So to start, let's just start moving by all the big stuff and get that out of there and pull the mats out. And then we're going to shake these off, and then all this we can vacuum out. Just try to grab the bigger stuff, like this stuff. And now with the car vacuum, vacuum all of this out. Now that you have that vacuumed out a little bit, let's move on to the cup holders and the seats. Now with the seats, let's vacuum these out too. Now that we have all of the big stuff off, you can use a microfiber towel and just wipe the seat off, and if you want, just spray some of your cleaner on there. And it's okay if the seat gets wet, you're just wiping it right back off. It won't soak in or anything like that. Whenever you're cleaning seats, if you are willing to spend the money, you can get a steamer, and that basically pushes steam through a rag, and that's very good at getting into cloth seats and leather seats, and that just sucks all the dirt out of it, and those work great. But right now we're just doing it very simple with tools that everybody has or can pick up for really cheap. We're just using, a microfiber towel. You just wipe everything down, and then once you finish the bottom of the seat, move up to the top. So whenever I started vacuuming where the floor mats are, I moved the seat as far back as it could possibly go. Now that we have the seat cleaned, we're gonna move stuff out of the way and start pushing the seat back. And then move the backrest back up to where it should be. And right there is good. So now the seat's back into its original position, and I moved it back so you could really vacuum under here really nicely. So now let's move on to the driver's side of the interior. So the steering wheel is always very dirty because it's always being held, and finger oils and hand oils are always getting on it. So just spray it down very lightly with your cleaner, and then once you get it like that, just take your microfiber tablecloth and rub it off. So now we're going to get right here on the dashboard and right under the steering wheel where that collects a lot of dust there, and these turn signal switches and windshield wiper stalks, we'll get those as well. Now let's move on to this cover, and this has a lot of dust because you don't normally clean this, so this one is very important. Now if you're going to put Armor All on, this is definitely the place to do it because the sun is always beating down on this unless you have a windshield light guard. So Armor All would be a good spot here to reduce the wear on the plastic. Now let's move to the center controls where there's the radio, and we'll just rub this down with a cleaning solution, and then we'll move down here to the gear selector and we'll get all that with a vacuum cleaner. Whenever you're cleaning into these little cracks, just put your finger in the towel and make sure to get those because that's very important, and that little attention to detail will really set the whole look of the car off. And now spray down the gear selector lever and just wipe that off, and you can see all that darkness that was on there is just coming right off with this cleaner, and it definitely needed that. And then if a little goes behind, that's fine, it's not going to damage any of the electronics. A little spray of water is fine. You don't have to worry about it at all. Now that we have all that clean, let's move down here and vacuum all the crud. Now let's go ahead and vacuum it out. Now take the cleaner and spray this down a little bit. And take the rag and wipe down this trim. You can see how much that shines up the trim and makes a world of a difference. And same thing in here. Just put a little bit in there and clean this out real good. Clean all your trim. It already looks way better. And now spray that down and get behind there. And wipe down these buttons again. There you have that. Get all that scrubbed down, and it looks way better. Open that. and scrub in here. Take out whatever is in here. We just have some couple coins. Spray that down and pull this out. That'll help you clean it, and then also clean under there. And then wipe this out. Get everything out of it. All the crud. And all the liquid. Pop that back in. And just wipe that down. And close it back up. Now that we have all of this cleaned, it looks real nice. Let's move down here to the cup holders. Now we know the cup holders are always the worst, so let's empty them of everything you have in there. This will be like spare change that is just disgusting. Old wrappers, peanuts. And then once you get the big stuff, go ahead and sweep it out with the vacuum cleaner. Now let's go ahead and vacuum them out. Now take your cleaner and spray it all in here. Just like that. And let it soak in for a little bit. So I let it soak for about 30 seconds. And now just take our rag and clean all of these out. And just take your time with this and get everything clean. Sometimes you'll need to just pull up a little bit on the e-brake. And what that'll do is it'll reveal this little slot. And you can clean in here and have a lot more room. And it looks a lot better. And spray down the side of the center console. You can really tell the difference once you put this cleaner on and start wiping off that dirt. It makes a world of a difference. And now moving over to the passenger side, you can just see how dirty this is. This really needs cleaned. So let's take out these mats and shake them out, and then let's vacuum this back out. Now let's go ahead and vacuum this out. And now let's clean this off. And then if you need, you can just take some of your cleaner and spray it down. And that loosens all the dirt up, and this just comes right off. And the door sill, this is a very important step. You want to make sure and get all that dirt off, because as soon as you open the door, you want it to be presented very clean. And clean the seat the same way we clean the driver's side. Once you get it vacuumed, spray some cleaner on it. And wipe it down. So now just spray this down and just get cleaning everything on this side of the car. And then clean up this rim up here. In there. And make sure everything's good and clean. So now take some of your cleaner and just spray down the areas where your hand is a lot and just wipe them down. And that stuff just comes right off. And now do the same thing to the back doors. Just spray them down and wipe it off. And I'll just skip past this one because I've already showed you how to do it. And now go ahead and wipe down door sills in the back. Make those look nice and shiny. And now for the back seats. You can see how dirty these mats are and all just this crud everywhere. And sometimes the back seats are the easiest, sometimes they're the hardest, depending on what the car is used for. This is definitely a family car, so there's always people in the back. And it gets very dirty. So let's go ahead and take out the mats and vacuum it. Now let's go ahead and vacuum it out. Now I move the seats forward a little bit, so make sure to vacuum that out, and that makes it a lot easier and more accessible. Now go ahead and wipe off the back of the seat. You definitely want to get this nice and clean. And to clean out this seat, I'm going to try using a different method, and all I'm going to do is snap. And there we go. A nice clean interior. We just finished up the last seats and the car looks a lot better. And I'll show you some of the shots of what it looks like now. And as you can see, this interior is now very clean and just how we want. As you can tell, the instant that I finished, of course, rain came pouring down. It couldn't have been better timing. So, I hope you guys found this video useful and that you learned how to detail your car very well and simple with everyday items and tools. So I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Talk to you then. And since it's raining now, I don't have to clean the outside of the car, which is good. Rain's doing it for me.